Hello and welcome back to Watch here, and it's about time for yet another episode of the irae, so let's continue because we are in a new chapter. And I didn't realize that, I didn't thought about this actually, but LDO have to open one more thing, so who's going to be the sacrifice for that? Because they are out of options kinda. And the only thing I can think about right now is that maybe they could use Shiro potentially, because if his soul is special and have density and stuff, like to be able to like withstand like being consumed basically by someone else and being able to like resurrect basically, then he might be sufficient sacrifice basically to open the thing. So maybe that's what's happening. Like maybe Reinhardt is going to try put him on the place and just open the thing with him. Who knows? But that's the only option I see right now for LDOs, so we will see. Like, they have out of members, basically. So yeah, let's just continue with that. Let's see. There's tower. Yep, I grabbed in the direction of the pressure with stern eyes. With that, we only had one stick left. There was no turning back now. The malice I felt from the sky increased in intensity yet again, making me feel like the bastards could bring down the whole sky if they wanted. At the same time, the phenomenon filled me with questions. There was nothing left to sacrifice in this ghost town, which meant that in order to open it, they had to kill one of their own. Yep. Did someone decide to go their own way after all this? Or did they sacrifice one of their own on a complete whim? Whatever the case, I had a hard time grasping the full situation. Also, I didn't realize that as well. Like, so you actually pointed this out in the comment that Bay, in a sense, if you think about this, won against Mercurius. Against this curse of like not winning anything he wants, not having like fulfillment and stuff, of foreknowledge of Mercurius, of his rule. So that's awesome. The way events unfolded appears to completely ignore me and Himuro. Everything seems to be going frightfully according to those bastards' plans. Could I check that up to my anxiety? Still, I felt there was more to this whole mess than meets the eye. So, can they technically use also one of us? Like, they cannot use Rhea. They need Rhea to be another, like, Sonnen kind after they open 8. So... okay, there's another option. They could use just Mari, right? Can they do this? Can they just destroy Mari? Is Mari counting as, like, someone who can be sacrificed? I mean, we know that Mercurius will not really allow that. But technically, it's possible to sacrifice Mari to open a thing, right? You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's possible, right? Should I go outside and check, or remain here behind the barricades? I choose between launching a surprise attack or defending the castle. I lack the information to make a proper decision. I'll be left out of their game. They gave me the illusion of being free, like some free-range animal, but they would take me right back to the slaughterhouse the moment the final battle drew near. God damn it, at this rate I'd always stay one step behind the bastards. If I wanted to ever have the upper hand, I couldn't stay forever passive. I need to take action, and soon. Yeah, you need to kinda emanate, you know? Or at least Mari have to. Their decision to leave the place, neither of us could turn a blind eye as the final location reeked of malice intent. The fact made me feel lightheaded. No way it could have been coincidence. Even if I'd forever lost any chance of being a normal student again, the place still held too many precious memories for me. All things I wanted to protect from their vile poison. Huh! Okay, I don't know, like, okay, if... like, somehow, for some weird reason, Shiro decides to be together with Reinhardt. Like, I don't know, like, because they sounded like they tried to strike some kind of deal, at least Reinhardt. I mean, you cannot opposite Reinhardt, really. And he had no intention of killing him right there, I think. So, what if they, like, actually working together now for some fucking reason, and they decided, hey, Shiro, you know, you fight Ren, it's cool, yeah, it fits you, you know, you fought there before, so you just do battle and open a thing, great, win-win for us, and you get to fight Ren. I mean, like, it makes no sense, right? It makes no sense, right? Why would Shiro do that? Shiro is, like, far behind the urge of, like, fighting Ren like that. He knows that he's, like, supposed to, like, stop Ren and stuff, like Mercurius said, like, he's a counselor for Ren and stuff. But I don't see any reason, like, why would he, like, side with Reinhardt or anything. Maybe I'm just, like, assuming too many things, but I don't know. It's like either Shiro or Mari is going to be, like, sacrificed. I swear. Like, there's no other option. Rhea is out of question. Ren... Actually, Ren can... No, Ren doesn't have even, like, remotely enough souls. Because everything... all the strength was, like, from Mari, basically. Ren is kind of powerless by himself. Yeah. Which meant that we had no choice but to head out, and most likely destroy the final sanctuary of our everyday lives with our own hands. The worst come. Whenever I come up with the setup was rotten to the core. Just thinking about it made me want to puke my guts out.
ここまで性格悪いと感心するよ。行くしかないし、やるしかない。選択肢はあるように見せかけて、結局最後は望み通り。
Yeah, pretty much. They all, especially Mercurius.
Senpai.
Himura spat out her contempt, giving the empty air in front of her vicious glare. Her face seemed slightly contorted in pain, probably the result of the swastika's opening. Yeah, she's closer and closer to dying. I instinctively reached out towards her, but ultimately stopped myself short.
Senpai. いけるな。
Yeah, also, if you think about this, this last spot is also not fight for not Reinhardt coming back, but also it's fight for Rhea's life. This is like last one stand. I confirmed her condition with words instead. She made a slight nod in response, and I gave up on trying to carry on with the conversions any further. Our minds were made. We had talked everything out and decided what needed to be done. And so, this was hardly the time to extend her helping hand, considering the threat we were about to face. Reinhardt for me, Isaac for her. Makes sense! Also, Reinhardt, you still did not fulfill Trifa wish. When are you going to do this? Like, go and talk to Isaac? Like, we hyped up talk with Isaac so much with Trifa, and now they just, like, forgot about this. I just cannot believe it. How long is it going to take Reinhardt to just, like, go and talk to Isaac? He was supposed to never lie. You had to steal them both, no matter what. The difficulty of the feat was probably on the same level as catching the clown with the bare hands. I imagined even a hero from a fairy tale would flee with his tail between his legs at the very thought of it. But we decided to fight. Well, Valhalla emanation to come to pass, and defeating those two was the very least we had to do in order to achieve that. You could say we had no choice in the matter.
大丈夫だよ、藤井君。
I'm still wondering how Rhea is supposed to fight off Isaac, because I don't know how, maybe something changed this road, but in the previous road she was pretty much helpless under Isaac influence. So why would anything change now? I guess since, like, she's together with Ren, That means like she has something to live for maybe and have like more mental fortitude. So she can like resist Isaac for a longer period of time and maybe overcome him for some reason. We'll see.
いろいろ言いたいことはあるだろうけど、私を信じて。そうとしか言えないのがちょっと歯がゆいけど。
分かってる。先輩を置いていこうとはしない。俺一人じゃ空回るのがオチみたいだし。
And I don't want to let her out on my side ever again.
それに大変なのは君の方。
As it though, I feel like dealing with Isaac is also going to freaking hard, so... But yeah, I guess Ren is kinda against almost God at this point, yeah, because Reinhardt can emanate, right? What? Right, I didn't thought about this, wait. Oh right, Reinhardt can emanate only at when all 8 is open. Right, I was like thinking like, yeah, he's basically God, but he didn't emanate. And I was like, why he did not emanate? And then I realized, yeah, oh, they need 8 for this, right. My bad.
もう一度あの城に行くためにはまだ一つ残ってる。
Because everyone who have like 4th degree is basically God in this universe, right?
Ah.
We had to open the 8th swastika. If we wanted to storm the castle, there was no other way around that. That's a terrible idea! It was manifested enough to be visible to the naked eye, but it still existed on dimension, slightly off kilter from our own. We couldn't enter it by ourselves. It was like a mirage that actually existed. It was definitely there, but there was no way for us to touch it. It had yet to fully emerge into the real world, which meant there were no convenient ladders leading to its entrance just yet. Okay, so that's a terrible idea, but that's the only idea you can have. And the only solution, okay. Well, it's win or lose at this point. There cannot be draw. A rift still separated our world from their hell. It was neither close enough to connect the two, nor far enough to let them drift apart. That was why the castle had yet to emanate, and instead lingered above the world like a menacing wraith. In short, we had no way of entering it unless Reinhardt invited us inside. Neither me nor Himura could just sprout wings and fly to the damned place anyway. It was a ridiculously obvious and simple barrier, but it certainly did the job in terms of effectively shutting us out from the final battle. If you think about this, like if Ren would be smart, he could fly basically at this point, you know? His like 3rd degree at this point allows him for like extreme fast movement, right? So just grab like a bunch of like pebbles, just like throw them in the air, walk over them and just throw another ones and walk over again. Right? That should work. As such, we had only one option at our disposal. Yeah, the problem is there's only the strongest one, and Shiro. That if he sided with LDO, it makes 0 sense to me. If he sided with LDO for some reason, it makes no sense to me at all. We needed to open the 8th swastika ourselves, then defeat Reinhardt before he had the time to emanate his monstrosity. What we needed was the miracle, just to clear the minimal conditions of the victory. We had to put our lives, our souls and everything else on the line, just to have the faintest glimmer of the hope in this deadly race against time. Also, isn't opening 8 means Rhea's dying? Like instantly? This is fucking terrible idea, like, what? They just agreed like, yeah, we are going to just open 8 with defeating one of the LDOs, and yeah, Rhea can just die. Ren, like, oh my god. Ren, what the hell? I know like you have no much options, but like... I don't know what they're going to do, I have no idea. Like, opening 8 was like Rhea death. Is she like expecting to be resurrected at some point after she became like a soul within castle that is supposed to replace Isaac? Or something? Or what? Do they have hope that, like, I don't know. I had to take time. I have to take care of the battalion of 3 and their master in one fell swoop. It gonna happen? It was impossible, ridiculous, reckless. We knew that more than anyone, yet our only choice was to bet everything on a miracle. Which meant I had to figure out how to open the 8th. Yeah. Contrary to what I've been doing up until now, I would actually help Reinhardt enter our realm. And if I was lucky, take one of his subordinates out of the equation in the process. Yeah, and also Rhea's going to die, don't forget this. All we could fight each other at full strength. Ironically enough, on this one point alone, our objectives coincided. In which case,
奴らのうち誰かが学校で待っている。
a sacrifice for the swastika, an enemy prepared for me to defeat, someone who existed merely to light the flame of the final battle. Considering the strength of the remaining bastards, I have guessed it to be one of the battalion commanders. Red, white, black, it was most likely Nigredo, the Somber Knight, who seems to have the uncanny obsession with me. That would make sense as well, but on the... Can they use Shiro as Nigredo? As the pillar? Maybe they can sacrifice Machina and use Shiro even against his will as Nigredo to brought like the whole castle back. Can they? Maybe that's the plan. That would make more sense, I think. It will make the most sense for them to position him there. Likely as the final piece to trigger the completion of my growth. I had to prepare to fight at Goliath. There's no one else who could have been waiting for me there and yet...
Fujii-kun?
The hell was this? I couldn't shake off this vague feeling that something was not right. An odd mixture of anxiety and dread, different from the mere terror, sent a violent chill up my spine. What could have been causing this? It always felt... I could tell that the stage for the twisted game had been set. Like a play of an opera guided by the artificial hand, one in which we were all actors merely obeying the commands of the conductor. With Fuji as the lead and Mari as the heroine and Blade to be wielded. We were entertainers, we would please our audience by using monsters in human skins as our stepping stones towards our grand finale. A saga of heroes, with a plot both simple and adherent to tradition, yet tragic enough to tug on the heartstrings of all in attendance. Ataya's story, about a snotty greenhorn, attains a legendary weapon and challenges a great threat, accumulating victories and defeats as he gains experience and levels up. One time, he suffers a defeat, leading to a mental breakdown that is soon soothed by the woman, only for him to rise again, twice as strong. Wow, this is literally like what happened. Yeah, exactly. Literally what happened in the castle. And now was finally the time for him to face the ultimate threat. I knew where this was going. I had nothing to be anxious about. Face the threat. This shall mark the last warm-up before the final act. I could almost feel the whispers of the playwright, wearing a sinister smile, no doubt echo with my mind. I swear, if this is Shiro, it makes zero fucking sense. The thought made me feel sick. This all felt way too artificial. Everything went as if according to script. Palated my hands into fists. The thought filled me with a night-blinding level of rage. I could safely claim that whoever came up with this story was one messed up piece of shit. All the extras that died due to his machinations were the more statistics to him to toy around with. Life that once filled his town, happiness, joy, sorrow, he used them all as the mere kindling for the climax of this story. Would such a malicious script truly have a fair duel prepared for me? Would the bastard who's been hoping for my growth be satisfied by erecting a merely physical wall in my path? I had a premonition that whoever was waiting for me would prove to be both the final and the greatest trial in my life. The ultimate monster, bearded by the perils of fate. Someone who couldn't coexist with Ren Fuji no matter what. I swear they're talking about Shiro. Why? I know like we talked, like Mercurius talked about Shiro being like fated basically enemy, let's say, like the cancer cell for Ren and stuff, but on the other hand, Shiro have like his own will as well. Like, why would he just like be like, Reinhardt would be like, yeah, you go fight Ren and die for me, and what? Shiro would be like, oh yeah, that's cool, I like fighting Ren, yeah, let's do it. Like, Masada? Hello? I don't get this. I literally don't get this. If this is Shiro, I don't know.
Oh.
I swear. It's going to be Shiro calling, isn't it?
電話なんで
There's no one else who can call. I swear to God. The phone started ringing before I had the chance to finish my train of thought. Not a single living soul had been left in this zone, which meant no one could possibly make this call except... My heart rate increased. Beads of sweat began to moisten my skin. I had trouble keeping my breathing even. Inexplicable surge of anxiety overcame me. My entire body screamed rejection, as if it already knew what would be in store for me. Don't pick up, ignore it. Don't even think about touching the receiver. Just be on your way. Completely ignoring the warnings of my inner voice, my body took a step forward and picked up the receiver. For a moment, everything went silent. I never thought gulping down one salivia could feel this loud. Eventually, a voice greeted me from the receiver. Yo. It had been enough to render me completely speechless. I'm alive.
Shiro.
Yeah. I felt like I could hear the playwright chuckle in the distance. In the moment, I temporarily forgot all about my resolve. All I could do was absent-mindedly murmur the name of someone I thought I would lose. Okay, back to Reinhardt. Explain something! In the center of the Devil Castle, where the throne of the dead swayed ceaselessly, with the rift between reality and unreality, Reinhardt Heydrich throwed upon those fresh developments the gaze of the monarch. At this point, the whole city resembled a miniature in the palm of his hand. The annihilation of all its inhabitants hardly necessitated moving a finger. He had ascended to the realm of gods, with his affection towards mankind, knowing no other way to manifest itself but through utter and absolute destruction. He was without a doubt the incarnation of the malevolent deity, perhaps even the devil itself. His legion of demons had conquered and occupied Shambhala, delivering it into his hands. As such, it was only natural for him to know all that transpired within it. No phenomenon in the town could escape his all-seeing gaze. He could see through a gust of wind. He was conscious of every single grain of sand dancing in its embrace. And now, eyes had been fixed on the last of the remaining swastikas. A final play, soon to be performed by the two men and the young maiden. How would the curtains open, and what would have changed by the time they closed? What manner of song would usher in the final chapter of the Grand Gungoil? The radiant gold gazed down upon the world with grace. His eyes replayed with the anticipation.
さあ、どう出る？どう動く？それでよいのか？カールの遊びは容赦がないぞ。
I literally have I don't understand. Shiro, I don't understand this guy. What the actual fuck? What happened in this conversation between Reinhardt and Shiro?
思考が凝る分整列だ。活路を開こうとするのも結構だが、かける価値があるかどうかさえ怪しいもの。舞台を始めるのさえ一苦労よ。
Like, did Shiro just like decided to like, yeah, I will just like follow plan of the foreknowledge and Mercurius, and I will do like what is like what I am, what I'm supposed to do without like any thoughts. I will be just an actor in your play, and he just like shut off all the logical thinking. I don't know.
すべてが暴利だ。基準が端から桁を割っている。勝とうと負けようと無視。
The result meant little. Whenever the development, the scales that might have decided the outcome had already vanished. An improperly high toll would be exacted from the boy regardless. From the dawn of time, that had always been how swindlers operated. Silver-tongued manipulators who would drive you into a corner, leaving no other option but to seal the contract. And once the storm had subsided, you would be left with a tremendous bill, business as usual. They would casually deflect the blame, eventually vanishing like mist in the arid air. He had always been like that.
ゆえ、参考にさせてもらうとしよう。
Yeah. He would wait for the upcoming stage with an eager heart. For it had been the sole effort that connected him with his dear, though still nowhere to be seen friend.
あ、それと、K はどう思う、イザーク。
Okay.
胸に感じるものは
Is that the talk that he's supposed to have? Like he's actually talking to Isaac. He addressed the cog that spun his heart. The boy who functioned as as the kernel of the castle. A trivial, inconsistent conversation. Is something in Isaac stirred even so slightly. Okay. He knew not the reason, however during the past half-century, even since erecting the netherworld of the dead, had the gold ever addressed him directly? Okay, so we actually have the conversation with Isaac this episode. I was like afraid like they forgot about this stuff for some reason. It was true that he had been impoverished. The tremor that shook the castle during that earlier battle had affected his very soul. It was impossible for him to wear out. Yet, not even an inerrant cog could escape the jaws of exhaustion. As such, he assumed he has misheard it. Oh, okay, never mind then.
どうした？何か言ってみるがいい。大概のことには答えよう。
Okay. The subsequent voice, however, proved that it was no trick of the
子
ears.
供たちとは語り尽くした。残るは K しかおらんのだ。胸に秘めたい。何かあるなら吐き出してみろ。余暇は幾ばくもないぞ。我が総軍、出撃の時は近いのだ。小さき魔人だ。あまりに儚い。愛にすがり迷い失い。それでもなお私を拒絶する。脆弱で強靭な魂。
What? Wait.
成長する姿は敵味方問わずこの胸を打つ。
Small demon. Soul that keeps rejecting me even after losing the love he had clung to. His growth enchants the heart of allies and foes alike. Who's rejecting Reinhardt? And is he his demon? What?
あれは私を、我々を、すべてを倒すつもりだ。
I mean, most likely he talks about Ren because
実行する
he
つもり
wants to destroy us and everything, but I don't get why he's... He keeps rejecting me. He doesn't reject you, he just like... He wants to actually fight you. And you want to fight him, so I wouldn't say that's rejecting. Is he talking about someone else? I mean, most of this fits for Ren. Most of it, I think. Or at least
素晴ら
half.
しいとは思わぬか。己がすべて長きにわたりために溜め込んだ蓄財。我ら真に一体となり、ぶつけるに足る敵手が息巻いている。永遠の脱皮を遂げ、今まさに完成の兆しさえ見せようとしている。
This is about Ren. Oh, worthy of our combined strength. So Isaac and Reinhardt.
ならばだ。K は我が礎となった第一の功労者。
Yeah, okay.
この魔女を滞りなく維持する。いわば屍を存命させ、何を欲する、何が知りたい、何をこそ求め、母さえも我が身に食らい取った。
Okay.
このゆりかごで一体何を待ち望んでいるのだ。生産杯の進言だ。中心の願いならば聞き届けてやらねばな。
He wished to know the entirety of his army before the final battle. For that, he even addressed his dormant heart. For it was the sole wish of the Grand Champion that braved the perils of Valhalla and reached his throne. Okay. What is Isaac going to say? Isaac found himself puzzled, unable to understand his own self. He had devoured all without distinction for eons. Amidst all the emotions he consumed, a mother's love enjoyed no elevation. It made no difference. But for what purpose has he done all of this? For whose sake? He failed to find an answer to that question. An inexplicable instinct took over him for a moment.
あなたが私の父なのですか?
Okay, simple question. And Reinhardt, as we know, will say probably no. Because that's like, you have no fucking idea, basically.
父
Right?
か。なるほど。確かにそうなろう。
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, don't you think so?
抜け目のないことだ、カール。その敵は感服の意を送るほかない。ああ、そうだな。そうなるのだろう。バスタルト。
Wow, Reinhardt actually acknowledging and realizing that he's actually a father, okay.
そうなるしかない。
Isaac grew hesitant as Reinhardt acknowledged the scheme and the blood relation he had never been conscious of. It was as if a puzzle, neglected for long years, had just abruptly solved itself. Reinhardt made a mischievous smile, jestingly condemning the swindler, who managed to pull the wool over, even over his eyes. His thoughts drifted far, his attention abandoning the boy. And the self-confirmation, completely disregarding the center object of the puzzle, appeared distorted even to Isaac's eyes. The biggest mystery of the Obsidian Table, the seed that gave birth to the Sonnenkind. The golden beast uttered the answer with ease, smiling with delight. Emotions incomprehensible to anyone but him surged within his breast. Isaac, with no exception, having lost his train of thought, as well as the ability to continue. What had happened? A part of himself seems to be distorted. He always thought the man with the golden locks to be his father. There was simply no other possibility. Yep, pretty much. And even if it turned out to be false, it mattered little. The golden father and the son were one. Their very souls had merged and fused together. A trivial matter, like blood relations, meant nothing at this point. But if such was the case, what made him ask that question?
よい、こちらの話。
Huh.
ではそれでよかろう、イザークよ。K は我が血肉から生まれた嫡男。血のつながりを持つ男児なり。
Okay.
さすがの私も起こった事実は覆せん。それが分かった以上、認めぬわけにはいくまい。
Okay.
知らぬ存ぜぬのままを通すほど無知で。
ならば
Okay, he spoke the words with hesitation. His tone was flat, yet imbounded with unmatching gravity. He thought him to be his father, and he was. That ought to have concluded the matter, but then why did he keep clinging to it? Whatever emotion it was that drove Isaac to part his lips again, he could not name it.
私はあなたに愛される資格があるので
Yeah,
しょう
okay, this is Isaac craving here, right here. This is what we learned from the previous roads. So basically, I think like Rhea's mental fortitude is like increased in this road because of Ren, and Isaac fortitude, like mental fortitude, is like lowered because of his dialogue with Reinhardt. Reinhardt would be like, yeah, whatever, probably. And Rhea would be able to overtake Isaac then, but still, opening 8 means you are dying, so what the fuck? An incomprehensible question. God loved all and everything, and so did he. What did worth matter in love? What did it mean to be loved? What in the world was happening to him?
あなたのために屍の健在で気づきました。あなたのためにドクロの絨毯を敷き詰めました。あなたのために流血の石膏で塗り固めました。あなたのためにあなたのためにあなたのためだけに私は今まで存在してきたのです。
Okay.
あなたのためにあなたのためにあなたのために
Isaac having some mental breakdown
あ
here.
なたのためにあなたのために
The cork of his mouth went high wire. It no longer made sense. The want that Theresia craved in him might have been to blame. It was that want speaking.
あなたは私を息子として愛してくれていますか？父様。
He wished to be a good son. He wanted to be prized, to be viewed with pride by his kingly father. That was all he craved.
資格とはまた異なことを言う。論点がずれておるな、イザーク。K は勘違いをしている。
Okay. He answered the boy's appeal with a serene tone.
愛するということに資格など必要なかろう。
He answered his child with granted helplessly warped benevolence.
資格がいらない。
しかり思い出してもみよ、イザーク。私が K を愛さぬといったことな
I
ど
mean, good point.
一度
The beast spoke sense. He knew that better than anyone.
思い当たるまい。なぜなら私は一度も否定したものなどないのだから。
But why did it sound completely off somehow?
常々言っているであろう。私が愛していないものなどない。それが本音で。
Yeah,
すべてと言ってもいい。
that's the thing here. Isaac didn't ask for that. Isaac asked if he loved him as a son. Basically, as father to son, not like everything else. Like, yeah, I love everything and I just want to destroy everything.
破壊という形態のため、余人とはかけ離れているが、K は知っているはずだ。
Indeed, the Isaac was no different. He had known it from the beginning. After all, he'd always said the same thing.
そうだ、イザーク。それこそが私の母女。私はすべてを愛している。かねてよりそう言い募っている。
Yeah, but he wants to know if he's special. Those words pointed at one universal truth with complete clarity. The unhinged foundation of the Reinhardt Heydrich. Indeed, it would never change.
愛しておらぬわけがなかろう。私は自らに類する者もあだなす者も皆等しく愛している。例外はない。
He would, like, Reinhardt would solve Umneko in, like, first, like, episode of, like, first hour of the game, basically. Because without love, it cannot be seen, and he have, like, all the love in the universe.
何を感じて不安を抱いたかは知らぬが、杞憂であったな。 愛していたとも。初めて会った時から。そして血のつながりを知った今でも寸分たがわず愛。
Yeah, that's the problem. Knowledge of heritage does not change the strength of my affection. Yep. That's not the Isaac wanted.
ゆえ崩れぬ喜ばしかろう。絶対の愛だ。
Yeah, never waver, but it also never will be stronger
たとえこれから先
or
ケイが
different.
その役目を終え擦り切れようともそれは変わらぬ。切り離されようとも翻意されようとも愛してやろう。見れ。
As such, there was nothing to fear. Your labors have been rewarded. His tone was majestic and imperious beyond measure.
祝福を送ろうイザーク。最初からケイは愛されていたのだ。これからもより一層その大任に従事するがいい。いかになろうとも報われるのだ。
He showered his deep affection upon all and everything award to the dignity of the monarch. Oh. I heard chains. At the same time, unbeknownst to all, a fissure ran across the core of the Devil Castle. He could not understand, he simply could not. What was this? What in the world was this? That's probably a disappointment that you feel. And kinda feeling crushed because Reinhardt does not really love you as the son. He just loves you like everyone else. What did this wound why did this wound deepen? As the attack had been no fiercer than the toddler's bite, and yet it appeared to have penetration him to the very bone. The creed of eternal loving, all and everything regardless of circumstances and conditions. In other words, he was no different from all the corpses that he had molded into the castle walls. Oof. Yeah. Almost as if he was a sheep or donkey kept at farm. One of the countless others. He was but a grain of sand within the desert he cherished. No matter how much he struggled or what he did, he would never amount to more than a single grain. That was the nature of the king's love. Forever. He had been declared a grain of sand by his own father. Another minuscule part of the rubble that filled the world no more. Reinhardt, you have heart attack. Basically, at this point. It did not matter. Whenever he was loyal and helpful, foolish or spiteful, he would eternally remain in the same kind of chaos. A single pin of the grate broke away. The Devil Castle, immaculately designed, had begun to slowly creak the tip under its own weight. You have no idea how painful it is to read anything on this background. Holy shit. Metal fatigue had finally caught up to the ultimate creation figment. It was but a slight crack, yet it led to the otherwise impossible failure of the intricate mechanism. No one noticed the subtle peristales that ran across the castle. Even Isaac failed to notice of his own deterioration, and so the phenomenon vanished as swift as it appeared. He concealed his wound. The out-of-tune creaks merged with the hushed tumult of the castle, making them impossible to discern.
ああ。しかし愛ではなく、友情を感じた者は一人いたな。
Very curious. And that was why that casually uttered phrase, directed at no one in particular, found its way direct into his heart. It echoed with an almost eerie nonchalance. So basically he's valuing a friend more than someone he loved, basically. And that's what Isaac also feels like. I'm just a son, and my friend is just like someone who's like walking on everything I love, basically. That's what he's like talking.
カールよ。
Yep.
ケイもそろそろ舞台に上がってみるといい。見えるもの、感じるものが また違って見えてくるというものだ。
Nah, Mercurius is fine. Mercurius will join you when you and Ren fall into dimensional hole, into another like soup, like space of emanation god things.
遊戯を結んだのならば、友の弦くらい耳を傾けてみるといい。今の私は少し基地の破り方が見えてきたのだ。
Okay.
K に聞かせてみ。
His words rang with staggered purity, point of naivete, and were directed at one specific being. A tripling taunt, a mischievous yet amicable challenge, an emotion like love, yet nonetheless unique danced within Reinhard Heydrich's chest.
カール・クラフト。
Yeah, he likes Karl more than you. An unpleasant sensation assailed Isaac then, not unlike what one's feel upon encountering a centipede wheeling on the ground. Wait, is that going to be like against Mercurius now? Is like Mercurius going to lose his ability to like resurrect people within castle and stuff because Isaac is now going to cooperate with Mercurius? Reinhardt's literally having a heart attack right now. And not realizing that. His whisper might have only reached his own ears, but it was enough to ignite a fierce emotion in him. A deep-rooted malice clouded his vision like black smoke, potent enough to make him want to grit his teeth. And one he had suffered by devouring his mother and meeting Rhea, feeling unbefitting the castle, and certainly minuscule enough to escape detection. Yet, nonetheless, it had taken sprout within his chest. He had been an entity that knew only know how to devour and swallow. Killing himself was an alien concept to him, and so was managing an emotion that had never graced his gestalt before. There was no way for him to have known how to cope with it. The malice, sticking from his chest like a thorn, would only spread further. Only spread farther, yeah. With that, Isaac returned to his existence as the mere cog of the castle. The envy in his breast remained a blister that he could not help but to prod, hoping of it to burst in torrent of fresh blood. It did not disappear, it merely vanished from everyone's sight. And there was nothing scarier than that. In the inherent gear, leaned of loss by gaining a father. What would this failure, or rather a tear he himself had already forgotten, end up bringing about? Yeah, no one knew. Isaac drove into the deepest of the deep sea fish, as if praying for his day to release to come. Okay, so we can assume that at some point, Shiro inhaled a mouthful of smoke. Yeah, Shiro's waiting at the school. If they are destined to fight, I don't understand why Shiro would. I just don't get Shiro here. I literally don't get Shiro. I know he's supposed to be like cancer cell against Ren and everything. Like he have foreknowledge. Yeah, I'm supposed to fight him and stuff. But like logical sense, I don't get this. I literally don't get this. But yeah, this is for another episode. But for now, yeah, we got actually finally a talk with Isaac. So it seems like Isaac is going to be one of the main things that may help us, basically, with the fight with Reinhardt, because... Okay, I'm still concerned about Rhea death, because, come on, 8 is Rhea death, right? So... I don't know, I may just not get something correctly or something, but that, like, is weird to me, that they want to open it, like, without, like, any issues, knowing that Rhea will die. Other thing I don't get is, like, why Shiro want to fight Ren, or why he agreed to fight with Ren, because it seems like he's going to fight. I don't know yet, maybe they will just join forces and somehow enter the castle, I don't know. But, yeah. Anyway, and Isaac is like one of the main things that probably can make Reinhardt lose. Like, Reinhardt have basically heart attack right now. So, first of all, while fighting with Reinhardt, like, Isaac may be like, yep, I'm not acting as your heart anymore, like, yeah, just get wrecked. And Reinhardt will lose his ability to emanate, basically. So Ren will be on a higher level and have like no problem against Reinhardt. Or Isaac is going to be overcome by Rhea's soul, and Rhea will just like fuck up Reinhardt from inside. That could be as well. But yeah, these are my thoughts about this episode. So yeah, thank you everyone for being with me, for watching this episode. Leave up a like if you liked the episode, subscribe for more, check my Discord, and become a member if you'd like to support me and see these episodes earlier. Thank you once again, and for a Pocket Watch is going out.